School students, it's Mrs. Cassio. I'm here today again to talk to you about another reading strategy that you can use while doing your independent reading. So let's begin. Today, we are going to be talking about inferring. What can I figure out as I read my book? So let's talk about your job today. As you're reading, think about clues the author gives in the story and what you already know, so that you can make an inference about the story you are reading. What does the author tell you, and what do you need to figure out on your own? So we're going to watch this quick video right now that gives us lots of ideas for how to make an inference. When the video is done, I will explain to you your job to do while you read today.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm 9 and I just became a big sister for the first time. Boy, do babies cry. A lot. Just today, my baby sister was fast asleep and suddenly she began crying out of nowhere. My mom seemed to know just what to do. She scooped her up, gave her a bottle, and my baby sister gobbled it right down. I asked her how she knew that my baby sister was hungry even though she couldn't tell us. Mom says that she's learned a lot about babies. She knows that babies need to eat about every 2 hours and that they sleep all the time, especially when they're first born. Mom said that when she heard my baby sister crying, she knew that that was her way of telling us that she was hungry. She must have been right because she fell right back asleep after she finished eating. That reminded me of a strategy that I use sometimes when I'm reading. It's called inferring. Readers can use this strategy to help them understand what they are reading better. Inferring is when you take the clues that the author provides in the text or the pictures, along with what you already know, to make a guess about what the author is trying to tell you. Like in this one book that I read, it was about a boy named Scott who was at an amusement park with a bunch of his friends. All of his friends wanted to ride the roller coaster that goes upside down. The story said that Scott saw the roller coaster and he felt a knot in his stomach and told his friends that he was going to sit the ride out. As I was reading, I inferred that Scott didn't want to ride the roller coaster because he was too nervous. I know that people sometimes say they feel a knot in their stomach when they're nervous. And since the author said Scott decided not to ride the roller coaster, I think it's because he was too nervous. Sometimes people can make an inference about how a character feels or why they act a certain way. But you can also make an inference as to why something is happening. Just like when my mom inferred that my baby sister was crying because she was hungry. She used the clues that the baby gave her, along with what she already knew about babies, to help her guess what my sister needed. I bet you infer things all the time without even knowing it. You probably know the story of Goldilocks and the 3 little bears, right? Goldilocks goes into the bears' home when they're out and starts snooping around their home. She eats their food, sits in their chairs, and sleeps in their bed. Do you remember the part where Goldilocks sits in Baby Bear's chair? Guess what happened? Goldilocks broke Baby Bear's chair. Now, the author doesn't tell you exactly why the chair broke, but I bet you can use the text clues and your own knowledge to make an inference. Think about it. The text says that Goldilocks sat in a baby's chair even though she's not a baby. And you know that baby's chairs are small and aren't meant for big kids because they weigh too much. So, you can make an inference that since Goldilocks is too heavy, the chair can't handle her weight and it breaks. Let's see how good you are at inferring. Let's read. It was a hot summer day. Dad and I sat outside in the blazing sun trying to cool off. Dad, I need a napkin. It's starting to melt off the cone. Can you infer what's happening? The text says it's hot and something is melting off the cone. I know that we put ice cream on a cone and ice cream will melt if it gets too hot. So, I'm inferring that the kid needs a napkin because ice cream is getting too hot from the sun and it's melting quicker than he can eat it. Here's another reading passage. Can you infer where the character is in this story? I want to go see the monkeys first. They're my favorite, Jimmy said as he walked through the entrance gate. The text says that the character wants to see the monkeys first, and it also says that he's walking through an entrance gate. I know that you can see monkeys at a zoo, so I'm inferring that Jimmy is visiting the zoo. Let's try one more. Sometimes you can infer the reason why an author wrote something. Can you infer the author's purpose in this text? There is still hope for animals who are in danger. This is a worldwide problem. The governments of countries around the world must unite to protect animals. Some organizations are working hard to protect their habitats. Other programs are helping animal populations increase. We all have to be aware and think before we act. The things we do can affect more than just ourselves. The author tells us that this is a worldwide problem and that we need to protect animals. The author also says that we need to think before we act. I know that if an endangered animal is not being protected, it will die out and become extinct. I'm inferring that the author does not want this to happen and is trying to convince us that we need to help protect endangered animals before it's too late. Hey, inferring is kind of fun. It's like we're using our detective skills to figure out a mystery. Let's review. We learned that sometimes the author doesn't tell us every little detail, and we have to infer or guess what the text is trying to tell us. We infer by looking for clues in the text or in the pictures and combine that information with what we already know. When you put those two things together, you make an inference. You can use the inference strategy when you're reading too.
So now let's talk about your job for today. What inference can you make? Think about the clues the author gives in the story. Notice what the author tells you and what the author leaves out. Do you know something on your own that can help you figure out what the author is not telling you? Thinking about what the author tells you and adding what you already know helps you make an inference and understand the story better. So today, as you are reading, be thinking about the information the author does tell you and the information that the author does not tell you. And also think about what you already know. When you finish reading today, tell your teacher an inference you made about what is happening in your story. Complete the inferring assignment. It is quick and easy. And as always, enjoy your reading. And again, try to add a little bit more time to the amount of time that you are reading today. I hope you're liking your books, finishing your books, and starting new books while you are reading at home. Until next time, I will see you soon.